The bridge of the Galactic Confederation flagship hung in the oppressive silence of space, a vast, dark cavern of shimmering alien technology. Before the main viewport, where Earth glowed with an almost insolent serenity, stood Ambassador Xylos. His silver skin, usually gleaming with self-assurance, was set in a stern, almost regal cast. He had orchestrated this moment for cycles, a calculated display of power. His voice, resonant and deep, filled the communication channel directed at the unsuspecting blue planet below. To the inhabitants of the Sol-3 system designated Earth, Xylos began, his tone dripping with the gravitas of ancient decrees. I am Ambassador Xylos of the Galactic Confederation. By the authority vested in me by the Hegemony Council, I hereby declare a state of war. Your egregious and unauthorized expansion into designated interdicted zones, your blatant disregard for the millennia-old armistice of Xylos, cannot be tolerated. You have precisely 7 Terran solar cycles to surrender unconditionally to the forces of the Confederation. Fail to comply, and your world will face the full, unyielding might of the unified galactic fleet. Let this be a testament to the consequences of defiance. He paused, a dramatic, expectant silence hanging in the air, his multi-jointed fingers flexing imperceptibly. He waited for the inevitable human panic, the desperate pleas for mercy. Instead of the expected terror, the human communication channels erupted with a cacophony of sound. It wasn't static, not a distress signal. It was laughter. Rich, unrestrained, utterly bewildered human laughter. Xylos's antennae twitched, his silver face contorting in confusion. Then, a new voice, calm and distinctly amused, cut through the mirth. "Oh, goodness me," the voice began, accompanied by a polite, smiling face appearing on the main view screen. It was President Anya Sharma, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "Ambassador Xylos, was it? So terribly sorry about that. My staff, you see, they just found your message absolutely hilarious. We've had a few technical glitches with our old-fashioned comms system lately, so some of the florid asterisk language came through a bit garbled. Could you possibly repeat that? Just the main points, perhaps. We seem to have missed the punchline." Xylos stared, a flicker of genuine shock crossing his features. Laughter? Garbled? He cleared his throat, attempting to regain his authoritative posture. "President Sharma, this is no jest. I have formally declared war upon your species. A declaration of hostilities under the ancient armistice of Xylos." President Sharma stifled another giggle, a hand briefly covering her mouth. "Ah, the old treaty thing. I thought that sounded familiar. We usually just call that Tuesday, with all the unique diplomatic challenges we face daily." She leaned forward, a genuinely hospitable smile gracing her lips. "Look, Ambassador, this is clearly a misunderstanding. Why don't you come down? We can schedule a proper conference. I'm sure we have some lovely coffee brewing, and I believe it's pastry day. We can hash out this war business over a croissant. What do you say?" Xylos's antennae drooped visibly, his initial confidence now rapidly eroding into exasperation. He was being offered pastries in response to a declaration of galactic warfare. "Ambassador Xylos, please, this is a matter of galactic security," Xylos insisted, his voice rising in pitch. President Sharma, still smiling, simply nodded. "Understood. Well, for matters of galactic security, you'll want to speak with General Martinez. He handles all the big, scary stuff. One moment, I'll transfer you." The screen flickered, and President Sharma's face was replaced by a man in a slightly rumpled uniform, mid-chew on what sounded suspiciously like a crunchy sandwich. General Martinez wiped a crumb from his chin. "All right, Xylos, is it? Anya told me you've got some questions about, well, everything. So, why exactly are you declaring war on us?" He took another loud bite, his casualness a stark contrast to Xylos's rigid formality. Xylos, already reeling, felt a fresh wave of indignation. "General Martinez, your species has violated the armistice of Xylos. Your expansion is a direct affront to galactic order, a breach of the ancient treaty that ended the Great Terror War." He pointed an accusatory finger at the screen. "You are expanding into territory explicitly forbidden to you by the terms of that armistice." General Martinez swallowed his mouthful, his gaze calm and steady. Right, the Great Terror War. We've got a few dusty records about that. Pretty old stuff. But I'm curious. He leans slightly closer to the screen, his tone losing its easygoing quality. Who won that war exactly? The treaty was signed to stop the fighting, yes. But it never actually says who emerged victorious. Our records just stop. Yours too, apparently. So, Ambassador, tell me, who won the Great Terror War? The question hung in the air, a simple inquiry that struck Xylos like a physical blow. The bridge of his flagship was utterly silent. His silver skin seemed to drain of all color as he searched for an answer that wasn't in his memory, wasn't in any official Confederation history. He had no answer. And in that terrifying silence, a cold dread began to coil in his gut. Ambassador Xylos stood on the main observation deck of his flagship, the vast expanse of Earth's blue marble mocking his earlier confidence. General Martinez's innocent question, "But I'm curious who won that war," echoed in his mind, a discordant chime against the millennia of taught history. A cold dread, a sensation alien to his usually stoic physiology, began to unfurl in his gut. He clutched the cool, polished railing, his silver skin suddenly feeling clammy. A fragmented image, unbidden and terrifying, flickered in his mind's eye. Not a glorious hegemony victory, but a vast, consuming darkness, silent and absolute. He had to know. The truth, whatever it was, suddenly felt more vital than any war. Retreating to the stark, functional confines of his private quarters, Xylos' hands trembled as he activated his console. His diplomatic privileges were extensive, but some data streams were guarded by more than mere protocol. With shaking digits, he overrode the system's initial warnings, pushing past layers of encrypted firewalls designed to deter even the most persistent inquisitor. The screen flickered, then displayed a stark, red warning. Accessing Level 9 classified historical archives. Subject, the Terror War. Authorization required. He authenticated, his heart pounding with an unnatural rhythm. The truth, long buried and forbidden, was about to be unearthed. 3 millennia ago, the galaxy was a tapestry of ancient orders and established powers. The hegemony, a coalition of the most advanced species, had meticulously charted and divided the cosmos, ensuring an orderly and predictable existence. Vast, organized star charts displayed their dominion, a network of trade routes and diplomatic agreements spanning thousands of star systems. Diverse alien species, from the luminous Xylosians to the crystalline Kylar, coexisted in a delicate, carefully maintained peace. It was a golden age, a testament to galactic cooperation, and the hegemony believed it would last forever. Nothing, they thought, could disrupt such a perfect, harmonious order. Then, a new species emerged from a remote, unremarkable spiral arm. They called themselves humans. Initially, they seemed primitive, confined to a single, vibrant planet, but their growth was unprecedented. In what felt like a blink of galactic time, humanity exploded outwards, rapidly expanding across hundreds of star systems. They colonized what the hegemony considered empty space, establishing bustling outposts and intricate trade routes. This rapid, uncontrolled expansion was a disruption, a chaotic ripple in the hegemony's carefully ordered cosmos. Their ships, though rudimentary by galactic standards, seemed to multiply with alarming speed. Concern swiftly escalated to alarm. The Hegemony Council, in its infinite wisdom, dispatched a diplomatic mission. They demanded that humanity limit its expansion to a mere 10 star systems, a paltry concession for a species they deemed nascent. The human reply was concise, almost absurd. No. Unbelieving, the hegemony sent a larger, more formidable diplomatic fleet, its weapons clearly visible, a silent threat against the upstarts. Again, the human response was unwavering, infused with an almost casual defiance. No, leave us alone. Frustration turned to rage. The hegemony, accustomed to absolute obedience, decided an example must be made. To teach humanity a lesson, the hegemony chose the Ross system, home to a small, bustling human mining colony. The intention was clear: a swift, brutal demonstration of power that would force human submission. A massive alien fleet, an armada of overwhelming firepower, descended upon the unsuspecting outpost. In a mere 6 hours, the vibrant colony was utterly annihilated, reduced to a swirling debris field, a stark testament to hegemony might. The galaxy held its breath, expecting the inevitable human plea for surrender, the desperate cries of a broken species. But instead, there was only silence. After the horrific destruction of the Ross system colony, all human communications ceased. For 3 agonizing days, across every frequency and every channel, there was nothing but an eerie, profound silence. The vast, intricate network of human colonies and trade routes seemed to vanish from galactic sensors, leaving only ghost signals. The hegemony, and indeed the entire observing galaxy, waited in suspense. They anticipated a broadcast of surrender, a plea for mercy, anything to break the unsettling quiet. Yet the silence persisted, a heavy, suffocating blanket that settled over the stars, hinting at a calm before an unimaginable storm. On the 4th day, the galaxy held its breath, expecting humanity's surrender. Instead, the void shimmered. From seemingly empty space, new, advanced human ships appeared simultaneously across every contested system. These vessels were unlike anything the hegemony had ever encountered. Sleek, black, moving with impossible speed and armed with weapons that defied all known physics. Their immediate, unwavering target? The very alien fleet that had so confidently annihilated the Ross mining colony. A wave of shock, quickly followed by pure terror, rippled through the hegemony command centers. The humans, it seemed, had not been defeated. They had merely been waiting. The galaxy thought humans were defeated. They were wrong. What terrifying power did humanity unleash? The celebrating alien fleet, still basking in their victory over the Ross colony, was caught entirely off guard. Human ships, appearing as if from nowhere, descended upon them with chilling precision. In a mere 12 minutes, the entire alien armada vanished. Not a single distress signal, not a single piece of debris remained, only empty, silent space. The hegemony's tactical displays, moments before filled with confident green markers, went dark. A dawning, horrifying realization spread through their ranks. Humanity had been scouting, observing, and preparing for war all along. Their initial primitiveness was a carefully constructed facade, an entire alien fleet wiped out in 12 minutes. The true terror of human warfare was revealed. The ensuing conflict shattered every galactic military doctrine. Humanity ignored traditional battle lines, bypassing heavily fortified positions to strike at vulnerable supply convoys and even civilian infrastructure. They employed illogical weapons, devices that transmuted entire space stations into fine dust, or, more terrifyingly, subtly destabilized the core of stars, threatening entire systems with supernova. The hegemony, accustomed to honorable strategic warfare, was baffled. Humans fought smart, not honorably, turning the established rules of engagement into a terrifying, unpredictable game of cosmic chess. Humanity's terrifying, unconventional war tactics baffled and broke an entire galaxy. What truly broke the hegemony's spirit was humanity's relentless adaptability. They never tired, never seemed to run out of resources, and most astonishingly, their technology advanced during the war, evolving at an exponential rate. Each new engagement saw more potent weapons, faster ships, and increasingly baffling tactics. Within months, the hegemony had lost half its territory. Within a year, human fleets were not just at their borders, but directly attacking core worlds, once thought impregnable. Despair set in. This wasn't a war they could win, or even understand. A species that evolves during war. How did humanity become an unstoppable force? Faced with total annihilation, the Hegemony Council, comprised of species who had ruled the galaxy for millennia, did the unthinkable. They surrendered completely. They offered humanity anything: territory, resources, technological secrets. Anything to make the relentless, incomprehensible war stop. Their pleas echoed through the silent human communication channels, filled with desperation and the profound relief of a species on the brink. The galaxy's most powerful empire surrendered unconditionally. What did humanity demand? Humanity's reply was as simple as it was baffling. We don't want your stuff. We just want you to leave us alone. An armistice was swiftly signed, demanding only that both species remain in their respective territories, with no contact or interference. The hegemony, relieved yet utterly bewildered by this display of restraint, quickly withdrew. Human ships, with the same unsettling efficiency with which they had appeared, retreated back into their own space, leaving a galaxy traumatized and profoundly confused. Humanity fought and won the galaxy, then simply left. Why? Ambassador Xylos slumped back in his chair, the holographic screen still glowing with the final lines of the report. The truth, long buried, now screamed in his mind. He remembered the whispered legends, the ancient fear that kept his ancestors from ever venturing into human space. He had just declared war on them, the species that had brought the entire galaxy to its knees, not through conquest, but through sheer, terrifying casual power. His eyes flickered to the final line, a military analyst's chilling estimate. This conflict involved an estimated 0.3% of total human population. Full human mobilization could have resulted in complete galactic conquest within 18 months. Xylos's silver skin paled further. He, Ambassador Xylos, had made a catastrophic error. The ambassador's horrifying realization. He just declared war on the galaxy's true, forgotten conquerors. The sleek, militaristic bridge of Admiral Varus's flagship hummed with anticipation. Holographic tactical displays shimmered, tracing their course through the inky void of Sector 7. Varus, a formidable figure with scales the color of polished obsidian and eyes that missed nothing, stood at the central console. His mission, a swift, decisive strike against a rumored human research outpost. The hegemony's declaration of war, still echoing across the galaxy, needed substance. He intended to deliver it. Tactical, confirmed target parameters, Varus commanded, his voice a low rumble. We approach the Ross system. The human stations designated a low-priority research facility. A probe attack will gauge their readiness, remind them who they're dealing with. The tactical officer, a nervous young reptilian, nodded. Confirmed, Admiral. All systems green for FTL exit, weapons hot. Varus allowed himself a grim smile. Let the humans laugh at Ambassador Xylos. They wouldn't laugh at Admiral Varus. He believed in action, in overwhelming force. This was merely the first, gentle tap of a much larger hammer. The fleet prepared to drop out of warp, ready to confront humanity. The transition from FTL was instantaneous, a sudden lurch into real space. But instead of the expected pinprick of a small research station, the view screen of Varus's flagship filled with impossibility. Before them, surrounding the entire colossal star of the Ross system, was a construct of unimaginable scale. It wasn't a station. It was a vast, shimmering crystal mountain, an intricate lattice of light and matter that dwarfed their entire fleet. Stellar energy visibly coursed through its structure, feeding into unseen systems. Report! Varus barked, his voice losing its customary steel, replaced by a note of profound confusion. Sir, there's a structure surrounding the entire star, the tactical officer stammered, his scales paling. Sensors are overloading. It's collecting power. A science officer, her optical stalks quivering, spoke. It defies all known engineering principles. What are they doing to that star? It's beautiful, but terrifying. Varus stared, his jaw slack, the sheer audacity, the impossible scale of it. His small, advanced fleet was a speck of dust next to this cosmic edifice. This wasn't a research outpost. This was something else entirely. And then, a small, bright light pulsed from the heart of the colossal structure, initiating a communication. A human face appeared on Varus's main view screen, framed by what looked like a brightly lit, surprisingly casual control room. The woman, with kind eyes and a friendly, slightly bewildered smile, wore a lab coat. "Hello there," she chirped, a cheerful voice that echoed across the vastness of space. "This is Dr. Lana Petrova at the Ross Stellar Engineering Project. Are you folks lost? We don't get many visitors out this far. Do you need any assistance? Navigation charts? Fuel?" Varus felt a vein throb in his temple. Lost? Assistance? He was Admiral Varus of the Stellar Hawks, here to declare war, not ask for directions. He glanced at his tactical officer, who looked equally dumbfounded. "We are Admiral Xylos of the Galactic Confederation," he announced, trying to regain his composure. "We are here to enforce the hegemony's declaration of war." "You are in violation of—" Dr. Petrova blinked. "Oh, war? Goodness, I hadn't heard. Jake, did we miss a memo about a war?" A voice from off-screen, a gruff male, replied, "Nah, Dr. Petrova. Probably just a misunderstanding. Happens all the time." She turned back to Varys, still smiling. "See? Just a misunderstanding. We're terribly busy here, but if you truly need something, we can spare a few minutes." Varys's patience snapped. "This is no misunderstanding. Open fire! Target the primary energy conduits," he roared, pointing at the impossible structure. His ships unleashed a torrent of energy, bolts of pure destruction streaking towards the colossal human construct. But as the weapons impacted, there was no explosion, no rending of metal. Instead, the crystal mountain shimmered, absorbing the energy, which flowed visibly into its vast network. The star behind it seemed to brighten, its flares intensifying. Dr. Petrova's face reappeared, still cheerful, though now with a hint of mild inconvenience. "Oh, thank you for the extra energy. It's actually quite useful for recalibrating our flux capacitors. We're currently modifying the star, you see, to increase its energy output by about 30% for our outer colonies. Nothing too complicated, just a bit of stellar restructuring. We've actually done this to almost 200 other stars already. It saves on shipping." Varys's mind reeled. Modifying stars? 200 of them? His most powerful weapons were being absorbed like a minor static discharge. His tactical officer simply stared, mouth agape, at the readouts showing their energy being converted. The casualness of it was more terrifying than any direct attack. "Cease fire!" Varys yelled, his voice cracking. This was madness. He desperately attempted another approach. "We demand your surrender! We will not tolerate." Before he could finish, the human structure pulsed again, a soft, almost imperceptible hum. On Varys's bridge, alarms blared, then abruptly died. The lights flickered, then went out. All systems across his entire fleet, from weapons to life support, winked into silence. The bridge plunged into darkness, save for the emergency glow strips. Dr. Petrova's face, still perfectly illuminated, reappeared on a small auxiliary screen. "Oh dear! Jake, was that our standard defensive scan? I do apologize for the inconvenience. Is everyone okay over there?" The gruff voice of Jake returned. "Yeah, Dr. Petrova, just a quick system-wide shutdown. Nothing permanent. Told you they'd try something." Dr. Petrova smiled kindly at Varys. "See? Just a little hiccup. We can send you some educational materials on peaceful conflict resolution if you like. Our engineers can probably get your ships running again in a few hours if you're patient." Varys stood frozen, his mighty fleet utterly disabled by a defensive scan from a cheerful scientist. The flagship drifted in this silent, dark expanse, a dead monument to alien hubris. Varys slumped into his command chair, the weight of a galaxy's worth of misunderstanding crushing him. His science officer, voice hollow, reported, "Admiral, our long-range scans are back online, barely. This Ross Stellar Engineering Project is just one of dozens. We're detecting similar constructs, Dyson spheres, stellar manipulators, gravitational anchors, each one larger than anything we've ever conceived. Any one of these projects uses more energy than our entire civilization produces in a year." Varys stared out at the impossibly vast Dyson sphere, still shimmering with captured starlight, now augmented by his own weapon fire. This wasn't a research station. This was a casual, everyday side project for a species that could modify stars. Humanity wasn't just powerful. They operated on a scale that rendered the very concept of war with them moot. Ambassador Xylos had been right. The war was over before it began. It had been over for 3,000 years, and they had just, accidentally, stumbled upon the true scale of their conquerors. President Anya Sharma leaned back in her chair, a faint sigh escaping her lips. Her office, a sleek expanse of glass and polished chrome overlooking the bustling, verdant metropolis of Geneva, felt strangely small under the weight of the reports flickering across her desk's holographic display. 17 distinct incidents. 17 times human civilian infrastructure had, entirely by accident, disabled or outright dematerialized an alien fleet attempting hostile action. Defense Minister Rodriguez stood stoically by, while Dr. Eris Thorne, ever the academic, adjusted his spectacles. So to summarize, Anya began, her voice dry. We've been accidentally destroying alien fleets with our traffic control systems, mining equipment, and college science projects. Dr. Thorne nodded, a flicker of grim amusement in his eyes. Indeed, President. The most recent was a planetary traffic control system's minor firmware upgrade in Sector GAMMA7. An alien scout fleet attempting to establish a blockade was caught in the system's primary energy field calibration. It was processed. A holographic animation played, depicting a tiny alien fleet simply dissolving into shimmering motes of light, a green traffic arrow, then blinking benignly. Anya rubbed her temples. Processed. Right. And these aliens, they thought they were declaring war on us? She gestured to the reports. Why are they so primitive? Dr. Thorne's expression grew serious. President, our analysis shows their technology is, for lack of a better word, very old-fashioned. Their ships use fusion reactors that we stopped using 300 years ago. Their weapons are based on principles we learned in high school. They've been technologically stagnant for millennia. Rodriguez stepped forward, a heavy data slate in his hand. And we now have classified historical files, President, humanity's own, tucked away deep in archives, detailing the terror war from our side. It confirms everything Ambassador Xylos' records only hinted at. The armistice wasn't just about peace. It was about their survival. The implications settled in the air, heavy and undeniable. Their survival, Anya repeated, the words tasting like ash. She looked from Thorne to Rodriguez, a new understanding dawning. So the ancient war? We were the ones who terrified them into hiding? Rodriguez nodded slowly. Yes, President. We developed what they called stellar cascade weapons, devices that could make stars go supernova on command. We only threatened to use them, but the fear was enough. Dr. Thorne pulled up a galactic map, a vast, intricate tapestry of stars. Swaths of territory, marked in vibrant blue, represented human-controlled space. Within these vast territories, almost imperceptibly, tiny scattered clusters of red dots appeared. And these red dots? Anya asked, a knot forming in her stomach. Those are the 50,000 alien species, President, Thorne explained, his voice hushed. We've been accidentally surrounding them for centuries. They've been hiding, just beyond the reach of our civilian expansion for 3,000 years, believing we were a dormant, terrifying threat that might one day wake up. The map showed human expansion forming a vast, unintentional cage around their entire civilization. The sheer scale of humanity's accidental dominance was breathtaking and terrifying. Days later, aboard a neutral space station that had materialized seemingly overnight in a disputed sector, a testament to human construction capabilities, President Anya Sharma faced a nervous assembly of alien delegates. Ambassador Xylos stood among them, his silver skin still pale with the weight of recent revelations. Anya began, her voice calm and sincere. I want to apologize. We had no idea you were there. Our expansion was opportunistic, not malicious. We thought this space was empty. A murmur rippled through the alien delegates. General Vorak, still reeling from the Ross system incident, shifted uncomfortably. We simply desire to be left alone, as our ancestors agreed, Xylos stated, his voice now devoid of its former arrogance. Anya offered a small, disarming smile. Why would we want to conquer you? That sounds like a lot of work and frankly pretty unpleasant. But we are curious. You have unique biospheres, new forms of life we've never encountered. We can adapt our expansion, share our technology if you're willing. The conversation miraculously shifted from war to scientific discovery. Alien delegates, tentative at first, began to share their knowledge, their fears slowly melting into awe and interest. 6 months later, Ambassador Xylos sat in a bustling cafe on Luna Station, overlooking the nascent Galactic Research Center. His antennae twitched, not in anxiety, but in quiet contemplation, as he typed the final words of his memoirs. The title boldly displayed on his datapad, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Humans. The GRC was a marvel, a collaborative effort where human and alien scientists shared knowledge, technology, and occasionally A laugh over a particularly baffling human ancient meme. The humans had, with astonishing speed, integrated their accidental galactic dominion into a new era of cooperation. Xylos understood now. Humanity's goal wasn't conquest. It was simply to understand, to build, to explore. They just hadn't known they had neighbors. The universe, once a place of fear and ancient grudges, was now a boundless expanse of shared discovery.